I present eco-defense organization with my colleague Alexandra Koroleva. Eco-defense conducts monitoring of the Russian part of the coast of the Curonian Spit since 1997. Thanks to cooperation with Lithuanian colleagues, comparative analysis of results of a series of storms that hit of Curonian Spit coast in January 2022 was carried out. In the second half of January, a series of storms hit the Curonian Spit coast, and each next storm was stronger than the previous one. Winds from the north and west caused the most destructive waves. The destruction touched the beach and 4 dunes. According to the estimates of Lithuanian colleagues, 250,000 cubic meters of sand was carried away by the sea from the Lithuanian side of the Spit. It may seem that the damage is equal on both sides of the border, but on the Russian side, an assessment of the damage has not yet been made. Fort Dune on the Russian and Lithuanian parts looked different before the series of storms. Before the storms, the Fort Dune on the Lithuanian side was monolithic and continuous. It should be reminded that the Curonian Spit was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2000 as an exceptional example of a landscape consisting of sand dunes and under constant threat from natural forces such as wind and water. In order for the Fort Dunes to fulfill its protective function, it must have a given relief. The sea slope is steep, the back slope is gentle. In order to preserve this relief, the Lithuanian part is under constant repair work under the Coastal Protection Program. The Fort Dune in this place was completely destroyed by the 2018 storms. The administration of the national park did nothing to restore the Fort Dune. Every year during storms, the sea floods the forest and the highway. Only in 2020, restoration work began. To contain the storm waves in 2022, this was not enough. The repair methods used by the National Park Administration in Russia do not reach the goal. Year after year, the administration of the Russian National Park uses big sandbags. On this picture, we can see to strengthen the dunes, and each new storm destroys these structures. The whole coast is gradually being destroyed. This clay ledge could become a geological monument of nature. There is a photo taken 100 years ago in 1923. Climate change now affects the coast much more strongly. In a protected area, the responsibility for the safety of the coast should be borne by the administration of National Park. Unfortunately, they don't. Climate change and the feet of tourists together are destroying their Fort Dune. The number of tourists in the national park is growing from year to year, but few of them understand the value of the World Heritage. In one of his interviews, the director of the Russian National Park said the 900,000 tourists visited the Curonian Spit in 2022. And he promised that in the 2023, there will be 1 million visitors. What is the difference between the condition of Lithuanian and Russian coast of the Curonian Spit? The ford dune on the Lithuanian side is continuous and monolithic. Ford dune on the Russian side has been fragmented and destroyed for many years. On the Lithuanian side, systematic work is underway to restore the ford dune. In Russia, there is no systematic work on the Russian side. The restoration of the ford dune is carried out in accordance with the state coastal management program developed by the Lithuanian Nature Research Center. The repair of the ford dune on the Russian side is carried out without scientific support, occasionally by random methods with the involvement of unskilled volunteers. There is no understanding of brushwood laying technology. Brushwood must be laid in a special way, trunks down. On the Russian coast, brushwood simply falls on the sea slope. Brushwood is carried away by storm. The coast is washed out even more. After the January 2022 storms on the Lithuanian side, in 4 days, the damage was fully assessed. In identify the most damaged areas, changes have been made to the program, identified priority work. After the January 2022 storms on the Russian side, not any works, and by beginning of the summer season, all repair works was completed in Lithuanian, both the restoration of the ford dune and the entire tourist infrastructure. For more than 10 years, there has been no cooperation between the two national parks. In February 2022, Eco Defense and Coalition Clean Baltic called an emergency meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to develop recommendations for the restoration of the coast after a series of January storms. The meeting was attended by 26 representatives of the public, both national parks, the Ministry of Natural Resources of Lithuania, scientists from Lithuania and the Kaliningrad region. A draft recommendation has been prepared, but 2 weeks later, Russia attacked Ukraine. After that, cooperation was cancelled. It's difficult to address recommendation on the comprehensive restoration on the coast of the Curonian Spit to the governor of the Kaliningrad region, who declared a state of emergency. It is difficult to address our recommendations to the Ministry of Natural Resources because it has no influence on the governor. The problem is that the territory of the Curonian speed is under federal control, while absurd decisions like a stone surface are achieved at the local level. That is some extracts from expert advice after our meeting. You can read it on this slide. Thus, our recommendations will again be addressed to the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Unfortunately, after the outbreak of the war, Russia was excluded from the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Thank you for attention.